today we have the first generations that feel like, well, I'm not going to have as good a life as my parents had. In many Western countries after World War II.
Right now, notions of masculinities are very much connected to violence, and that's a helpful way also for extreme rights movements to recruit men for their cause.
La primera acció que hem de portar a terme és estudiar-ho, entendre-ho, veure què és el que està passant per a que aquestes persones tinguin aquestes actituds i voten d'aquestes maneres. No?
Creiem que és important parlar de la relació entre masculinitat i violència en un congrés com el MenEngage Movement que estem celebrant aquí a la UOC, perquè nombrosos estudis ens vinculen clarament aquests dos elements.
So we really have to disconnect masculinities from violence. And one way to do that, I think, is to center care more in what it means to be a man.
But now, like, you have high unemployment rates, and particularly among youth, you find them particularly among young men as well. And that's where we find the locus, the heart of the kind of the resentment. But what happens is that a lot of young people, and young men particularly, become resentful against others, and they start blaming women, migrants, homosexuals or queer people, instead of actually blaming what caused their situation. And what caused the situation is more an issue of economics and political economy than actually, other people's rights, for instance.
Què és el que està passant a nivell social que fa que es moguen en una direcció i no es moguen en una altra.
There's a promise to be made there that a lot of far-right movements do, that if you vote for us or if you follow us on YouTube or whatever it is, we will promise you that you will, become a real man again, basically. And our movement will produce sort of like a new manhood. It's a concept I call remasculinization, basically, which actually talks very much to the individual man, of feeling like a male failure, or not being able to live up to standards of masculinity. While at the same time, it's an ideological political project for many of these far-right movements that we see. That promises that we're going to recuperate manhood again, and real men is going to be real men, and women are going to be women again.
I think we also have to understand better the structural drivers, like why is there political interest behind this connection between masculinities and violence. And basically, by keeping the connection so strong, men are also mobilized to fight in war, in conflict, to fight for the far right, for example.
Far-right leaders do it in different ways. One would be a kind of a narrative, often a very conservative and also kind of looking back narrative and arguing that, well, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, or often it's prior to feminism or prior to migration, so everything was fine and we need to get that back again. But it's also a way of presenting themselves as the answer. So a lot of far-right leaders are kind of presenting an ideal masculinity in many ways. So some of them, younger influencers, or those who kind of attract younger influencers, are also very much into healthy lifestyles, into bodybuilding, into combat sports like mixed martial art and that kind of stuff. That's what they kind of long for and what they kind of give as an answer to men's, and particularly young men's, difficulties in life.